Yeah, Tuesday morning here on the job site. I'm gonna fuel up the old skidder there, shoot a little air in that back tire. It's got a small leak about maybe every 3 weeks. I shoot a little air into it. I try not to ever let it get real low. I need to get that fixed. I've been kind of procrastinating on that, and it's usually not like me to do things like that. You can kind of see that back tire's a little squatty back there. So we'll shoot some air in it. Then we're going to finish up cutting some of these bigger post oak over here. Probably cut till about noon, I would say, today, because I've got 2 different jobs of timber to look at this afternoon. I've got to go to Nixa, then just kind of after Nixa, I've got to go back towards Stockton. It's kind of southeast or east and south, whatever you want to call it, of Stockton. A little in between, 2 little towns called Fairplay and one called Bonna, which Bonna's not really much more than a set of crossroads. So it'll be a full day. Some walnut timber at both of those little jobs. I think the one in Bonna is supposed to have some bigger oak trees too. I'll kind of explain a little bit more on it later in the day, maybe if I can remember to. But I really want to try to push through and get this job wrapped up this week. I don't want to spend too much time in this oak timber. I like to try to move through it pretty fast so we can get on to the next, much like anything we do. Had a pretty good dew last night. You can see it's all on the windows of the old cat here. So we'll get started doing that, and we'll see if we can get some more trees laid down and put in the pile here. These big ones, by the time you get them cut and have to go through and top them, they take a little longer to work up. These bigger trees do. Take a lot of gas too, but like I said, we've got a pretty good market for these bigger post oak, so I don't mind taking a little more time to cut through them. It all evens out. There's Dad. He's already got the saw fired up, so I better get going. Dad's about to bring this big one here down. You can see the top on that one's starting to die. Some of these trees out here we're going to leave. You can see these few right over here. We're going to leave them. I'll go back and push all these tree tops up together. I've already been pushing some together just to kind of make more room, kind of clean up the mess a little bit. I go through ahead of Dad and I push all the underbrush out from around these trees. That way it's easier to get in there and cut them. You don't have to fight any of that mess. And I've already started back over here behind us doing that to some of these too that are right on the edge where there's a lot of brush around them. Now, down in the timber, there's not a lot of brush around those trees, but out here where these have been brush hogged around, they didn't get real close to the tree itself. There's a lot of undergrowth. There it goes. That old tree wasn't in real good health. These trees are old, they're starting to die, so they needed to be cut. Like I said, we're leaving the smaller ones there, that way they can be harvested another time. Well, me and Dad are both cutting now. This is one I just brought down here, and that's a 661 with a 24-inch bar, so kind of gives you an idea how big they are, the post oak. Dad's working up that big one right there. And I didn't trim it all the way up because I wanted to show you guys what it looks like when we trim them up. You know, they're rough, but I try to, which I didn't get that one as close as I should have, but I try to get them pretty even there with the log. I like to round them. There goes that big one there. I'll go over here and help Dad trim his up because he's got the ruler, and we'll mark out the log we want here, but that kind of gives you an idea what they look like when we trim up. We'll trim all these limbs off here. Like I said, we'll take them, try to make them as flush with the log as possible. We'll try to get a 10-footer out of this before it gets too rough up there. But this one cut off really good. Pretty good looking log. Like I said, just old post oak. I had a gentleman comment yesterday on my Facebook page He wanted to know about the post oak. And I know some of you guys don't have post oak where you're at. And when I went out and visited Wade back the first of the year, of course, he said the only time he'd ever seen post oaks when he come to Missouri. And for someone who's not familiar with post oak, it can get you in trouble because it looks a lot like a white oak, but it's a lot different from a white oak. It's in the white oak family, along with a chinkapin oak. I think a bur oak's in the same family there, the same kind of oak tree there, the white oak side of it. But they do not make barrels out of these logs. These logs, this wood will not hold water, so you cannot make any barrel material out of these logs. Like I said, we've got a good outlet for it. I don't like to give away all my trade secrets where my logs go, but don't buy it for stave timber. You'll get in trouble. You'll lose a lot of money. It's after 11:30. It's about what time we usually take lunch. We got a pretty good jump on. There goes Dad. He's heading out. I'm not gonna, as I stated earlier, I'm not gonna come back today because we're gonna go look at some timber here this afternoon. We've got 2 jobs to look at, but we got a decent bunch of them cut this morning. Me and Dad were both cutting, so it goes quite a bit faster when we're both cutting. Of course, these bigger trees take a little longer to work up. Well, red oak there cut pretty good. It's really, that air is drying it out, and it's really looking pretty. So I'm hoping one more solid day, Thursday, will be the next day I'm over here working. Maybe late tomorrow, even if I'm feeling ambitious. But I've got appointments tomorrow up north. So hopefully one more day I'll get all this wrapped up here on this part. Now there's another part of the farm that's on over there. We'll have to actually road the machine around on the dirt road, which it's not even a half mile over there, which ain't a big deal. So we got one more part, and there's not near as much over there as what there is here, but the walnut's over there, what little walnut there is. So I'm happy with little days like today. Of course, it doesn't, when you're cutting these big logs like this, it does not take long for the footage to really add up fast. And that's why I like cutting this bigger oak timber, the fast footage factor. So guys, that's it for today. We're gonna jump in the truck here, take these chaps off, and jump in the truck and go get a bite to eat, then head south and look at some timber. All right, everything's off. I didn't used to wear chaps or a hard hat. I started wearing chaps after I took the after I went and got my certification through the Missouri Forest Producers Association. When I got my certification, I started wearing chaps. Of course, in the class, you're supposed to wear chaps, so I did. And I wear chaps for a lot of reasons, not just the safety factor. My jeans seem to last a lot longer. It keeps my jeans cleaner. Of course, my older age, I'm getting to be kind of a tight ass, and I ain't wanting to spend a lot of money on jeans like I used to when I was younger. That's not to say I still don't spend more money than any sane person should on a good pair of jeans, because I'm one of those people. But the hard hat, I started wearing a hard hat 4 years ago, and I'm not even going to go into the reason why I started wearing a hard hat. I'm really not, because it wasn't for safety reasons. It sure wasn't. But now I feel like I'm naked without my hard hat and chaps on when I go to work, which is a good thing. It's good to be safe, but you'll never see me running somebody down or critiquing somebody because they're not wearing their safety equipment. I mean, that's personal choice. I watch a lot of these logging groups on Facebook, and man, if somebody posts a picture and they're not wearing their chaps or hard hat or gloves or hearing protection or suit of armor, mithril, just, the cloth of God, just whatever they might have, and if you don't have a backpack full of first aid equipment, just, it gets ridiculous, and just, it's personal choice. I mean, people that log know the dangers in logging. I mean, it's not like, gee, this is a totally safe job. Anybody that logs knows the dangers. So there's no need in running somebody down about it. Let them work. My dad's never worn that stuff his whole life. He's been logging for 54 years and never wore it. That's that generation of guys, though. That's just that generation of men. And you know what? He's still cutting logs every day, and he never will wear it. He never will. He wears a pair of gloves, and that's it. It's just it's luck of the draw a lot of times. You know, it's fate. You know, you can't. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And regardless, yeah, if a walnut hits you in the head, that hard hat's going to help. But if that big limb comes crashing down out of the treetop, yeah, well, they might be digging plastic out of your skull, because that hard hat, I mean, it might help you a little bit, but it's in a lot of those instances, I'm sorry, it's just not going to do much. I'll argue it all day long, I really will. But guys, thanks a lot for following the channel today. Appreciate having you on. Oh gosh, the wind's blowing this gate open. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share these videos. We like to get all the subscribers we can. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us and watching our channel every day. It means a lot. I like talking to you guys, whether it be on YouTube here, Facebook. Definitely check all that stuff out. You can find us at Instagram and Facebook at Turner Logging LLC. You can find Logger Threads and Timber Tracker on Instagram and Facebook as well. So guys, check all that stuff out. We're going to go look at some timber. We'll see you tomorrow. Later.